good.
Alrighty.
Actually, you could take a half step forward. Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. Yes.
Alright. Hi everybody, I'm Amanda Henry, and I'm doing my third speech for my CAS 100 class. And just to give you a little preface for this, I'm not going to go into details about my workplace, the names of where I work, or any of the operators mentioned or quoted in this speech. So a little bit of background information. The labs that we use have safety equipment to protect workers and operators. And safety showers are common requirements where labs will include things like irritants such as acids or anything along those lines that the operators could be exposed to. And OSHA states that workplaces are required to provide safety showers in these environments to make sure that operators don't get permanently injured due to these environments. So where I work, I'm in the project management department, and I was brought into the lab for a different project where we were going over different parts of the lab area to revamp them and add new equipment. And we were going to add a third piece of equipment where we currently have a safety shower. And it would make the whole process a little bit easier if we had this third piece of equipment in there. And when we were talking about this, I realized that we would have to move the safety shower. And I also realized that the safety shower that we have now doesn't have a drain. So I asked the operator what they would do when they would run the shower. And they said they would put a bucket under it to test it monthly. And an orange rust-colored water would come out initially. Now, in an emergency situation, you can't expect an operator who has a chemical burn on their skin to find a bucket to stand in, promptly stand inside of it, and then pull this switch to operate the shower. The rust water will also potentially further irritate the skin or lead to an infection for this worker, which would not be ideal considering that would also have to be reported to OSHA in a situation like that. And we would expect to have emergency personnel responding in the incident that a shower would have to get turned on, and it would become a slip hazard if there was water on the floor, because a bucket likely wouldn't hold all of the water that would be expelled during this process. On top of this, OSHA requires that you must pump 20 gallons per minute out of a safety shower. And OSHA also requires that an affected area must be flushed for at least 15 minutes. And if you do a quick calculation for that, it amounts to 300 gallons of water at least that are produced in this whole process. And a standard bucket holds about 5 gallons, so it's probably not going to hold all that water, which would lead to an overflow onto the floor, likely a spill, and likely a slip hazard for emergency personnel, as I stated. Flooding would also probably close down the lab area, as drains are located in corners of different lab rooms, but 300 gallons of water would likely pour underneath the doorway and close any equipment that would be in those areas waiting for the water to drain. We'd also have to make sure that any water that was expelled is taken to our wastewater treatment, because if there is acid in that water, it's going to have to get removed before it goes into any sewage water or disposed of, however we take care of that. And I also realized that in doing this assessment, our lab was barely meeting OSHA standards by providing this situation for a safety shower, but not accounting for the potential other hazards that would be created if the shower was ever pulled. My solution is that we installed the new machines that the initial project was created for, and attach onto that project that we would remove different equipment in the lab located about 10 feet away from our current safety shower, and remove that section of equipment that we no longer use and turn that into a safety shower. Now, in that area of the lab, there's already drains and water hookups for a safety shower and an eye wash station to be easily initiated into that area. Operators would get a new standard operating procedures outline of where the safety shower is, what to do in that situation, and with the drain assisted there, it wouldn't limit operators to if there was a flood on the floor due to this issue, because hopefully the drain would take care of that. I also suggested that we add a small slope into the floor or a potential guard to help hold that water in, just in case it's not draining fast enough. Also, with this installation, there would also be new plumbing put in so that we would get rid of that orange rust-colored water and help remove any possibilities of an irritant getting into a chemical burn for these operators. So hopefully we can go through with that, and thank you for your time.